पूरा पॉडकास्ट देखने का टाइम नहीं है, नो वरीज. You can enjoy the highlights from the podcast here in this playlist of TDP Shorts. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to know more. Let's start. So tell me, out of all the colleges, like now तो there are even more colleges, number of colleges have gone up like anything. पर उस वक्त भी कुछ colleges जैसे NID हो गया या IITs थे, IISc Bangalore है. तो how did you end up choosing this particular college? What was your reason?
So thankfully, that many options were not there that time. So it was a little easy for me that way to apply to colleges.
Today it's very confusing.
Plus, my exposure in design itself was very less. So whatever I googled, that is my knowledge. I was working that time. So when I was researching this, I know that my window for application was just hardly 15 or 20 days only.
Oh,
so
really?
When I came to do so that the small window, I had to make a decision. Okay, let's just apply and see like that.
Oh.
So so that time there were four or five IITs which offered design, Indian Institute of Science, and then NID within India.
So you literally had like 15 days to prepare for the exam.
True.
Oh, it was an impromptu thing.
So it was a complete impromptu thing. But I when I went through the websites of each colleges, the courses, when I went through this literature study of what design is, what product design, what industrial design, it felt like it was a natural connect. I didn't have to do a lot of effort to it. It felt like this is the field for me because I'm already aware of a lot of other things that goes well with the. So for me, it was kind of a natural fit. So then I started. Applied to IISc, I applied to IIT. Actually, I applied to only 3 colleges.
Okay.
IISc, IDC in IIT Mumbai, and then NID. So these are the only 3 colleges. This thing, and then thankfully the examination centers were in Chennai. So I just bunked one day in office, went and wrote exams for all those things, and call for came. IDC I couldn't go because at that time there was like some sort of presentation or something. But the system, right? Like first you have to write a written exam. Selection list will appear in the individual colleges. They will call you, and again there will be a design studio test and written test in the college. So you have to go to, if it is IISc, you have to go to Bangalore. NID you have to go to Ahmedabad, or IIT Bombay you have to go to Bombay. So I couldn't go to Bombay. IISc had gone and NID had gone. So basically the thing is, I think for IISc they had called for 100 plus people. It was a full day thing. The first step was a written exam. So you have to write in the whatever. So there will be a kind of filtration there. Then the remaining people who are selected, there will be in the second half there will be an interview. So the faculties will. So it's kind of like a proper stress interview sort of a thing. And you go there, and then finally after 2-3 weeks you will get that. Whether you're selected or not.
Actually, even I remember when even I got shortlisted for IDC, NID and IISc, and I remember because that time I was staying in Pune, and IDC Bombay and IISc Bangalore interview. Studio test dates, they were clashing somehow.
Correct.
So I didn't have time to travel to all the way Bangalore and then तो इसलिए मुझे IISc skip करना पड़ा था. But yeah, if somebody from the educational institute, if they are listening, this is a real problem. I think you will have to do something about it. Yeah,
true.
Okay.
Even I think the dates in which the results come, they are like so. I don't know, it was so far, it was 15 years back. So
correct.
Really not.
Now things have gotten better, I guess.
Yeah. So that's my this thing. Then one day letter comes from IISc saying that you're selected. So that's ended up going there.
Okay. So do you remember any do you have any faint memories of IISc studio test or the interview?
Yeah.
Any interesting questions?
So I think I'm not sure whether there was a center in this thing Chennai in which I went. I think I'm not really sure. So first is like you have to write the seed exam.
Okay.
So seed exam, you get the question papers online. So you can kind of go through the previous question papers. You get an idea for what sort of aptitude test. There's a little bit of sketching involved, GK and all that thing. So you finish that. Based on that, they'll call you. I think they called 100 or 150 people to IISc Bangalore.
Okay.
So I made up some pretext in office, went there. It was a full day thing, so you have to from morning till evening, provided you select for different stages. The first stage is it's a written test. and they will test your aptitude, your sketching skills, and all that thing. So then there will be a filtering of that. And in the second round, which is the interview round, which is more the more exciting one, I feel, so because there will be 4-5 faculty, and I think they will pass judgment on you just by looks and your answers. Like, did I say something really wrong? Oh man, I shot my chances and things like that. It was interesting to mingle with the people who had come there, the students who had come there.
Correct.
Particularly architects, they already go this 5-year grind and they have a lot of content.
Man.
And
To compete
I got
with them,
really
it's very
intimidated
scary,
by looking at architects because they already have so much relevant
Oh,
content.
I still remember, like when I was standing there for my interview and all, some architect students were having like this big box of portfolio and all, mock-ups and things like that. And I literally had like this small booklet of scanned and printed, like very badly scanned and badly edited portfolio. So yeah, it is very scary.
Same is the case with me. I had a lot of sketches and loose sketches and my CV and like all this. So very ill-prepared thing. And what can I say? I think whatever I said or whatever answers I gave maybe struck a chord. There were some creative questions. Like I think one question, if I remember, I think one of the faculty asked, everyday objects they'll just take and tell you, like, can you say some 5 different uses for this object other than what it is? Like if it is a pen, how will you use this apart from it being a pen, apart from it being used for writing or something like that? So they'll just instant check how creative you are or something like that.
Correct. Okay.
And something to do with your projects and something to do, most of it will come from what your interests are. They will ask you what your interest is and they'll question you from that. So be sure to say what your interests are properly.
Yeah. I think I'll just add one thing to it. Actually, selection process thoda sa vague रहता है हमेशा, but what I understood over the time is that they are looking for people with very strong and unique personalities. So I would say you don't have to follow someone, but अगर आप में कोई एक ऐसा मतलब कुछ भी यूनिकनेस होगा, let's say for Arun, he was in L&T and then he was passionate about motorcycles. I was into sculpting. I had some background with sculpting and competitions and all that. So maybe that makes you unique and that makes you stand out in the crowd. So वो जो भी है वो आपको uniqueness,
highlight your strengths,
highlight your uniqueness. That's what I think you should do. Okay, now
there was this one funny incident. One of my friend, what he did was very thoughtful of him. So what he did was during the interview, obviously we all would have gone with one portfolio. We would have given one portfolio.
Correct.
It's like this guy had printed 5-6 portfolios. So when he went, like he gave and made sure that I printed everyone one copy so that all of you are taken care of. So he knew that more than one person will be there in that interview room.
Wow.
So he gave everyone
very thoughtful.
Very thoughtful, hey yaar, and he got selected also.
Very nice. Okay. So we talked about why and how you entered IISc. So tell me a few memories of IISc. How was the campus? I have heard it's a beautiful campus.
So, like I said, there were only 3 options which I had applied. There was IDC, which I didn't go.
Correct.
IISc, which result came first, and NID, which results came a little later. But I was still I still remember. Like IISc anyway has from childhood there is a sort of a what do you say, like India's best institute, science and technology, pinnacle of all that thing.
Correct.
Still, I think it features in India's #1 university again and again. But it's not really, it's a higher education center. So there are mostly, now there is undergrad courses. But when I studied, there was only postgrad and PhD and things like that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of brownie points if you're studying in IISc, particularly with my father. He's a teacher.
Correct.
It's like so cool for him. Like whenever he's like introducing me to someone, that he make sure that he says he studied in IISc and things like that.
Actually, elderly generation, because I come from NID, my parents, I know, they will take more pride in telling people that he is studying in IDC or IIT or IISc than saying कि NID में पढ़ रहा है, क्योंकि लोगों को तो पता ही नहीं होता है. NID बोलने के बाद they related to NIT and all.
True.
Yeah, so I can completely understand.
Same. So the brag value is very high from early on. So
That's
but
a nice
when I actually went there for interview, what hit me strong was like it's a very greeny and wooded place, okay, right in the middle of Bangalore.
Correct.
I mean it's beautiful place, such a big place, and number of people are very less, number of students are very less, so it's sparsely populated. Very beautiful campus, so that hit me like a tsunami. Like, oh, actually, I made my decision that time itself. If I get a chance to study here, I'll study here. It was, and
awesome.
Particularly the department, the design department was very, very pretty. It's a very old architecture. It's a lot of history. Like, I mean, there's a kind of this thing that the lab in which we used to work, that is actually Sir C.V. Raman's lab. He used to work, do his experiments there or something. I don't know whether it's actually a myth. Maybe somebody can bust this myth from CPD. But then there are a lot of stories. 100 years of, it's a 100-year-old college. In fact, I am the centenary batch, the 100th batch of ISC. So,
wow. Okay.
So it's a very pretty place. So that is also one kind of buying in for me for IISc, I feel. And it's a very, very cool place, Bangalore. Like, what more can I say?
That's true.
And so then when I entered the department, when I talked to faculty, and there were a lot of my seniors there who have become lifelong friends, when I talked to them, and it became clear, like, okay, I mean, this is a place for me. That's how I ended up in IISc.